Now, the backdrop to that question is, and I'll give Mike Kavanaugh and staff, recruiting staff, they didn't do a horrible job of recruiting offensive line here when we got here. I can't say that for every other position. You know, you can see the roster, you can know where it is, but we have a lot of young guys that are on the roster right now that are going to help us out for at least 2 or 3 more years that are, you know, damn good football players, you know, whether it be scholarship players and walk-ons for that matter. So we're really excited about the youth that we have in the offensive line, and those guys really developing into a leadership role as we recruit some more young guys that will help us out in the future. Those guys setting the tone like the Matt Farniaks, the Brendan Hymases of the world, you know, even the Bo Wilsons of the world. Those guys are going to be the juniors next year, upperclassmen, you know, with an opportunity to take this thing and, you know, really run with it with all the experience and the snaps that they've received this year.
What have you seen out of some of those younger guys that have been working the scout team this year?
Guys are doing well. You know, they're progressing every week. You know, you see new and different things from them. You know, I just have this phrase. I say, see a little, see a lot, see nothing. You know, so I get them. I say, hey, you know, what is this? What is the one thing you got to work on this week? You know, what is your one thing? Because you can't sit up here and get better at 500 things. It's footwork, it's the hand placement, it's eye discipline. What is it? You know, am I really going to improve? If I don't do anything else on the football field this week, this is the one thing I have to improve. And then you move on and you get better at that one thing, and then you try to keep that consistently. You know, since you've gotten, you know, you've gained, you know, in terms of your learning and your execution of it. Now let's move on to the next thing. All right, what do I need to get better at this week or today? You know, so they have a very, very, close vision mindset. So they're not just out there just swimming and saying, hey, I got to get better at this, I got to get better at this, Hey, let's not worry about that. And we'll give that up right now so that we can get better at this one thing, and then we'll work on that later on. And all those guys have done a good job with that.
Any particular area or way you saw your line grow on Saturday against Michigan State?
Resilience. Those guys, you know, over the course of the last 7 weeks, those guys have, you know, had a measure of success. They've, you know, done a pretty good job. We knew we had our work cut out for us. One of the best defensive lines that we faced. We knew it was going to be a fight. And those guys they kept the faith. They just kept on coming back to the sideline and saying, man, just keep on running the ball. Just keep on running the ball. You know, we covered them up, and we knew that, hey, you know, if there was one little slither of a gap that was open, it was going to be closed in a matter of a half a second. And different than, you know, really any other defense we played besides Michigan. You know, and so they kept on working, and they, you know, in my opinion, they did a pretty damn good job up front on Saturday. Just, you know, covering the guys up, putting a body on a body, and that was our stress point all week. Is we want to put our bodies on their bodies, and we want to be more physical than they are.
Wow, that's a tough job. Now, I know you probably just covered this, but is Iowa that type of game? Is that
oh, absolutely.
Is it that
absolutely.
type of line?
It's not that type of line in that it's a little bit of difference in technique. Those guys really do a good job of using their length. Those guys are, you know,
Iowa.
Iowa. You know, the shortest guy is 6'3". You know, 6'5", 6'7", 6'8". You know, you can see the length right there in the program. And they do a really, really, really good job. They're really good technicians with their hands. So we're going to have to do, you know, a really good job of getting the leverage that we need to try to get up under them and put our bodies on their bodies.
Do you guys kind of, after this game's over, do you guys kind of scatter to the winds and start recruiting again? I mean, are you on the road? Or?
Yeah, I leave Sunday. Bags packed.
It's just a whirlwind, right? Those next, like this week, and then the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's part of the job. It's part for the course. I mean, you gotta, you know, in order for you to create a sustaining winning program, you gotta get guys in here. You gotta get the recruits that you need, and you gotta continue to build and work the relationships. So that's the protocol. So that's what we have to do.
I know you can't talk about specific prospects, but are you guys looking for any more offensive linemen in this class, or do you feel
always looking for linemen? But we are coming close to our numbers right now. And I would let Coach Frost talk about the numbers because he has ultimate control over the roster and the guys that we take versus the guys that we don't take. But one thing I'll tell you is that the recruits are well aware of the amount of guys that we're taking and where they sit and where they are in relation to the class.
You also talked to 2020 guys.
Oh, heck yeah.
2020, 2021.
Heck yeah, absolutely. And those guys have come up, a lot of guys have come up in 2020 and 2021, and you can see these guys at the games. Those guys don't just show up. There's a relationship that's built way beforehand, and then they come and they see it. They go through the game day atmosphere. That's what really attracts people to this place. The in-person visits.
How many states? Do you know off the top of your head how many states you got in the next couple weeks?
Oh, at least 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 15. I'm everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere. Heck, I was in Hawaii this past spring.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
You get to go.
It is bad when you. It is bad when you spend more time on the plane than you do on the island.
Yeah.
So it's fun while it lasts, but then you're back 5 hours at least to get back to the States, and then you go from there. So that was a build up to a big letdown, so to speak. Right? So,
do you forget where you are ever?
Oh heck no!
Good.
I don't ever forget where I am. I never forget where I am. I know I do have trouble from time to time with the time changes. But I never forget where I am. I know the airports by now. I kind of get a feel for it, especially the airports I've been in more than other ones.